Terence Bud Crawford getting compared to Gervonta Davis, and some very respectful people in the boxing world saying that Terence Crawford is not taking the risks that Gervonta Davis is, and that Gervonta Davis, as far as their legacy goes, is going to get the last laugh on Terence Crawford as Terence goes from fighting Errol Spence Jr. to a very low-risk setup fight that nobody cares about. And Gervonta Davis is actually out here taking risks. Now, there's going to be a lot of people that are not going to like what is being said. However, we're going to talk about it anyway, and I'm going to give you my thoughts on it. Please give me yours in the comment section after you listen to the whole video. Greatly appreciate if you listen to the whole video. It's not that long. It'll probably be about 8-9 minutes or so. So before you comment, get off the title, listen to the video to the end. Let's talk about it in this video. All right, welcome back. Welcome back. Two of the best fighters in the world. My number one pound for pound fighter and my number two pound for pound fighter. They've been compared, and the comparison is based on what they're going to do next. They both came off of tremendous victories in 2023 and now have fights set up seemingly for 2024. There is a very respectable trainer out of Philadelphia who spoke about this particular issue of Gervonta Davis versus Terence Crawford's upcoming fight and the risks that Gervonta Davis is willing to take versus the risk that Terence Crawford is or is not willing to take, and really how that is affecting their career, how it affects the perception that fight fans have of them. Now, before I get into the details, let me welcome you back to the channel and sip my coffee. If you are new to the channel, please hit the subscribe button. We chop it up about boxing every day. If you've been around a long time, thank you so much for continuing to be around. And thank you guys to everybody. Big Mill in the building with the super thanks of the other day. Thank you so much for that support. And thank you to everybody that comes by the live streams that we do pretty much every day of the week. We go for hours and hours of really good boxing talk with very intelligent boxing fans. I think that you'll enjoy it. And you can come if you don't like what I have to say here. And instead of writing little mean notes in the comments, come to the live streams that we do and do it there. And I'll talk to you myself. No worries. But let's get into this, because Rob Acosta out of Philadelphia said that he believes that Gervonta Davis is taking more chances than Terence Crawford is. And I've heard this echoed in my comment section. I've heard this echoed in my live streams. And as people often wonder, why is it that Gervonta Davis is where Gervonta Davis is as far as being able to claim the title face of boxing, selling out arena after arena after arena after arena, doing a 1.2 million pay-per-view show, and really stealing the spotlight of 2023 from the fight that everybody in the boxing world was saying they wanted to see for years, and that was Terence Crawford and Errol Spence Jr. Well, Gervonta Davis, with his fight with Ryan Garcia, snatched the title of the biggest fight of the year, and not only did they snatch it, they doubled the numbers of Errol and Terence. That is something a lot of people, most people who are not named Leonard Ellerbe or Floyd Mayweather Jr., did not foresee. But it happened nonetheless. Why is it that, and if you look at the fights before that and you compare the numbers for Gervonta and Terence Crawford, man, it's like 6-1. Like, it's a lot. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry, maybe not 6-1. If you look at the David Avanesyan fight, which I believe did somewhere around 50,000, and then you look at the fight that took place with Hector Garcia, where they may have done 250,000, something like that. But let's go with the naysayers and bring that down to 200,000, right? That's 4 times as much. The gate was $1 million in Nebraska, or a little less than, somewhere around $1 million gate in Nebraska, while Gervonta Davis and Hector Garcia broke the record at the stadium in Washington, D.C. with, again, a gate of over $5 million against Hector Garcia. So, and then the gates of the Errol Spence and Terence Crawford fight and the Gervonta Davis and Ryan Garcia fight, the gates were very close. I think that Gervonta's was higher, but still kind of close, right? But whatever you have, it's still, you see that although Terence Crawford has had, man, a lot of knockouts. What has he had? Like 7, 8 knockouts in a row, 7 or 8 consecutive knockouts. He's had nothing but knockouts over the last 5 years. He became an undisputed champion at 140 pounds. He became an undisputed champion at 147 pounds. What is it? Well, people say it's because one guy is willing to take the risk and the other guy is not able to is not taking risks because of what this fight that we see coming up. I think there's some validity to that. And I'm not going to necessarily say it's because of the risk of the fights that they have. Okay, the risks that the fights that they're going to have. Like, I think that Errol Spence Jr. for Terence Crawford was a risky fight, even though, because it was a 50-50 fight going in. Not a lot of people saw the way that he would dominate him like he dominated Errol Spence Jr. But fair is fair. You got to say what it is. That's a risky fight. That's a 50-50 fight, right? So he took that risk and he won the fight. There you go, right? Before that, though, there's really not a lot of it. There's almost none. Almost none. I think the last time that I think that there was any real risk to a fight with Terence Crawford was probably, I don't know, man, Marius Bradis before he ever won a title. After that, it was kind of like Top Rank is giving him fighters. But you got to fight the people that are in front of you. Though it's not his fault that he is the best fighter in that division, and there's nobody really even close to him. However, and same thing goes for Gervonta Davis. Gervonta Davis took risks against Jose Pedraza. He had no choice. He had to fight for that title, but Jose Pedraza was a big dude at 130 pounds. Gervonta Davis was early in his career. I think he took risks against Hector Garcia, against Ryan Garcia, against Isaac Cruz for sure, right? There are risks there, but some people would say, hey, man, but, nah, I'm not really feeling it. Well, here's the thing where I think the risk, the one guy taking the risk and the other guy not taking the risk is the separation. It's in their business decisions. Terence Crawford spent a lot of time basically fighting off salary with Top Rank and getting guaranteed money from Top Rank and being able to fight kind of mid-level guys or people didn't really want to see him fight, right? Back to back over on Top Rank, and not really being promoted by Top Rank, right? Not ever really being the featured guy by Top Rank. So he was always in the shadow of guys like Manny Pacquiao early in his career. He was in Manny Pacquiao's shadow. After Manny Pacquiao kind of passed, moved on, right? Kind of fell off. Then he's in the shadow of Vasily Lomachenko. And then Vasily Lomachenko loses, right? What happens? Terence Crawford then winds up being on par, even a little bit in the shadow of Teofimo Lopez with that promotion. But why? Because Terence Crawford was not willing to bet on himself earlier in his career, especially during that time where he first re-signed with Terence Crawford to go somewhere where he could, like they say with the PBC, get paid what you weigh. To go out there and say, hey, man, look, I'll sign with a Floyd Mayweather, or I'll sign with Al Heyman, and I'll get on these fight cards and I'll fight whoever it is that they throw out. And I'm going to rely on my ability to fight and their ability to bring numbers in for pay-per-views and all of that stuff to garner fans. He was kind of in the camp with that anti-PBC camp that thought all of the PBC is not smoke and mirrors, but, not doing what they should do. They're talking bad about Al. That's the reason why he's not as big as Gervonta Davis is, but Gervonta Davis, even he may not have had the choice, took the risk. He signed with those guys, and he's taken smaller guarantees than Terence Crawofrd was getting over at Top Rank, but he wound up making a lot more money and being seen by a lot more people because the PBC is better at promoting fighters and growing big name fighters than Top Rank was. But you got to take a risk with the PBC, as Adrian Broner said, because they want to fight. They want you to fight King Kong. They'll pay you a bunch of money, but they want you to fight King Kong to get it. And that's the truth. That's why a lot of their top fighters wind up losing big money fights because they get thrown in there with wolves. Look what they're trying to do with Canelo Alvarez and David Benavidez. They're not trying to pass a bunch of easy fights on to Benavidez, or pass a bunch of easy fights on to Caleb Plant. They're saying, okay, hey, man, we're going to put you in there with Canelo if we can get Canelo. And same thing goes with Canelo. When Canelo was fighting around on Showtime, he had to fight guys like Lara, had to fight guys like Trout, had to fight guys like Mayweather, had to fight a bunch of really risky fights, man, for him. That Terence Crawofrd and guys over there at Top Rank don't have to do. So I'm not going to say that Terence Crawofrd isn't taking risks in the fights that he has any more than Gervonta Davis is. Both these guys are a tremendous fight. How much risk is there really going to be in any particular fight for either one of those guys? But in their willingness to put their money where their mouth is, get out there and work on commission versus working on salary, it's a dramatic difference between the two. But anyway, that's my take on the matter. Please let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Deuces.